Krishna Prabhuji, how do we understand the term Brahmana in today's perspective?
Well, today's perspective, what do you mean by that, today's perspective?
We say it's there in the scriptures like 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗪𝗀𝗪𝗀. When everyone is a Shudra, then how do we understand that who is a Brahmana?
The scripture says that everybody is Shudra, but then who is a Shudra? First that has to be defined, and then who is a Brahman. That definition has to be given.
Exactly.
So, Shudra, Shudra is nothing to do, this term has nothing to do with casteism, first of all, Brahman and Shudra.
Okay.
People have unnecessarily made it look as a caste issue, and then there are so many movements around. But that's nothing to do, it's a scientific concept. Shudra is a person who actually always laments. That's Shudra. So, who always laments.
Okay.
That's Shudra.
Okay. It is a quality.
So it's a personality of that person. A person
who is always complaining. One person
who is always complaining, always lamenting, always frustrated. That's called he's called a Shudra. Personality type. Just like in psychiatry we have personality type A, personality type B, personality type C. So either you can say type A, type B, type B, C, or you can say Brahman or Shudra, like that. So this is a person, he's called a Shudra. So he may be XYZ, or he may be whoever he may be, but that's personality issues there. And a Brahman is a person who never laments, never frustrates, and never is never like in depression, etc.
Okay.
So that's called a Brahmana. That personality type is called Brahmana. In a very broad context. So everybody is called Shudra in this age of Kali, because almost 100% people are like that. Most of the people, am I right? They're like that. They're always lamenting, always. So what's that? Shudra. 𝗙𝗍𝗪𝗍 Shudra. That's how this word is made.
Okay.
𝗙𝗍𝗪 means he's always lamenting.
Okay.
So
because we have certain another category of people who are like ignorant people, and they are always happy and they are not complaining.
There's nobody happy. Did you meet anybody happy? Everybody is complaining. Everybody is saying that happened, this happened. Everybody is thinking of future.
Okay.
Lamenting, like I'll do this, do that, do this, unnecessary dreams.
Okay.
So everybody is like that in this age. So in general, most of the population is like that. Either they're lamenting for the past, or they're dreaming in the future. That's called a Shudra. So that's why Bhagavatam says that 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗪𝗀𝗪 𝗪𝗲.
Yes.
The personality type. People are born like with this personality, most of them. And now, who is a Brahmana? Brahmana, there's no Brahmana in that sense. People are born like, people have this kind of personality, Shudra personality. So Brahmana can be made by training.
Is it so? So because up till now we thought like a person is born with Brahmanical qualities.
That's wrong. That's all wrong. Krishna in Gita, he doesn't support this idea.
Okay.
And that's a wrong idea. That's a casteist idea. That's what I was saying. People take Brahmana and Shudra as a caste, but no, we don't take it like that. We take as a personality types. So you can be trained, and you can be trained to become a Brahmana. You can be trained by counseling.
Okay.
By counseling of scriptural knowledge and training in scriptures.
Yes.
Training in meditation. And by that practices, spiritual practices.
Okay.
So your mind can be trained not to lament for the past.
So
not to go into depression, not to have dreams unnecessarily. Live in the present. That's what is that's what goes in the West.
So
Live in the present.
Is it the same as samskars, which we have various samskars to make the person Brahmanical? Is that the same thing?
What about samskars?
Like we have different, like Upanam sanskar. Is that initiating? Is that the same as initiating the person into a Brahmanical quality?
Initiation is not. I mean, people initiate. That's what I'm saying. That's a ritualistic process.
Okay, that is the ritualistic. That was used to.
That is ritualistic. People get initiated as a Brahmana, they get thread and all these things
exactly.
in India.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make a Brahmana. A Brahmana gets all these things.
Okay.
It's not by doing that you become Brahmana. First you become Brahmana and then you enter these ritualistic things.
Okay. It's the other way around.
It's the other way around.
But people have taken the other way around.
People have
they're following the rituals, but they're not developing the qualities.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Brahmana, Shudra, they are by qualities and actions. That's how it goes. So that's a Brahmana. But having said that, so Brahmana means that person has Brahmanical qualities. So Bhagavad Gita gives it more precisely. What qualities a Brahmana has to be expected from this kind of person, Brahmana type person. So one thing is, I told in a very general sense, he doesn't lament, he doesn't depressed and sorrow, frustration, no. But Bhagavad Gita says, okay, it defines more. Shama dama tapa saucham, jnana astikyam, brahma karma svabhavacham. That verse is there. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that, okay, this person who is Brahmanical, you can see he will have qualities of mental equilibrium, Shama, Dama, control of senses, cleanliness in heart and outside he'll be clean, Jnana, he'll have knowledge of God, Astikyam, faith in God. This kind of person is a Brahmana.
Okay.
I mean, to say faith in God means understanding of existence of God and understanding of the existence of soul. He understands that through scriptures. So if that kind of person is called a Brahmana.
This definition is also there. Pathan and are these. This definition is also included.
That is actions of Brahmana. What is his duties?
Okay.
Their qualities, guna, and then this karma. So guna, these are qualities I was talking about.
Okay. Now the actions.
So what he's supposed to do then?
Okay.
This kind of person. He has knowledge of God, so he should distribute it.
Okay.
Pathan. He takes knowledge of God and distributes it. Yajan, he does sacrifice and he actually helps others to do sacrifices. Yajan, like that.
Okay.
So because he knows good life means living for others. Am I right? So he trains others like that.
Okay.
And Yajan and Dan Pratigraha. He gives charity, he gives knowledge in charity. And he accepts charity for his living, minimal charity for his living, whatever people give. Like that. So that's his duty.
Okay.
That's a Brahmana.
So that way means that is his contribution to the society, and not just practicing any rituals.
No. Rituals supports the practice.
Okay.
First practice is there and then there are rituals. It's not the other way around. People have now first made rituals and no practice. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
That's wrong. I mean to say, you see, for example, when a person gets suppose a person goes to border and he fights nicely, so then he gets an award.
Yeah.
And then people call him, or maybe scientist, for example, he does so much research and this, and then he gets a Nobel Prize, and then he's tagged as he's a Nobel, so he's a Nobel laureate.
Yeah.
So nobody calls Nobel laureate first, and then he does research. It's crazy.
So he has to earn that.
Yeah, he has to deserve that ritual, that Brahmanical ritual. He has to deserve that.
Okay.
Like that.
And finally, is there any difference between this Brahmana and Vaishnava? We use Vaishnava term more often than
Brahmana means Brahmajata Atiti Brahmana. Brahmana means, I told one of the qualities, he understands the concept of God and lives up to that. But Vaishnava is, let's say, a PhD of Brahmanical life.
Okay.
So Brahmana understands the concept of God, but Vaishnava lives the concept of God.
Okay.
Or in other words, Vaishnava serves God. Brahmana is simply trying to understand and realize what is God, who am I, and this.
Yes.
But he doesn't really serve God actively.
He's more at the level of knowledge.
Knowledge.
But
Vaishnava practically applies that knowledge and serves God. Okay. So that's the difference. So it is said every Vaishnava is a Brahman, but every Brahman may not be a Vaishnava. In the present age. But in the previous ages, every Brahman was Vaishnava and every Vaishnava was a Brahman. There was no distinction between Vaishnava and a Brahman. Brahman meant Vaishnava.
Okay.
Who understands who is God. God is Vishnu, and you have to serve him. But because today there are ritualistic Brahmanas, as you said. So they just simply know about God and they enter rituals and that's all. They don't have qualities. So that is why it is said. That is why there is a difference now. You are Brahmana. Okay, you have undergone rituals, you understand something, but you have not really realized who is God, because when you realize God, you automatically serve him. And then there's a Vaishnava.
Okay.
So there's a distinction today. In previous ages, it was not like that.
Okay. And you were also telling that a real person who has Brahmanical qualities, you were telling that day, that one who is able to bring the conclusion of all the Vedas.
That's one thing. Actually, these qualities are there in Gita, but the main quality of a Brahmana is actually samanvaya.
Okay.
Samanvaya means harmonization.
Harmonize. Okay.
So because Brahmana is supposed to get knowledge of God, receive it and distribute it. And of course he has to get mental control, sense control.
Okay.
So that's a very high demand from human life. Because it's very difficult to control mind and senses and then imbibe the concept of God. Because the concept of God is very deep and full of contradictions.
Also because a lot of confusion is there in the Vedas.
Yeah. Because it's full of contradictions.
Okay.
Because you're dealing with an infinite concept. Finite living entities trying to understand infinite. So automatically scriptures also have a lot of contradictions. It's so much depth there. So you should have the quality to harmonize things. And that is why it is said Brahmana has to be he has to have mental control, sense control, because if he's not in control, how he'll harmonize deep concepts, which are actually not just theoretical concepts, practical concepts in life.
Okay.
So all these qualities mentioned in Gita, it is aimed to actually give birth to another quality, which is the principal quality of a Brahmana, which is samanvaya.
Okay.
The ability to harmonize different scriptural conclusions and live up to it. And you'll not be able to harmonize if your mind is not stable. If your senses are not under control.
Yeah, sure.
And you don't have perfect knowledge of God, you'll not be able to do that. Without purity, when mind control, sense control is purity. So harmonization in spiritual life is not, so it's not an academic or theoretical exercise. So that way, so samanvaya. So some scriptures call this quality of samanvaya as ojas, and tejas.
Okay.
So Brahmana is supposed to be replete with ojas.
Okay.
So all the yogis call this ojas as semen. I mean to say, you raise semen through Kundalini and all these things. But technically, it's nothing to do with semen.
Okay.
Ojas means the capacity, the mental capacity in your mind to harmonize scriptures.
Okay.
Practically, not theoretically. Practically in your life.
So that also comes, means that has to be learned, or that comes with...
yeah, of course, that has to be trained.
That has to be trained.
So first you have to get purity, mind control, sense control. You have to get knowledge of God, jnana, 𝗙𝗪𝗪. And then over the years, when you become advanced, then you get trained in samanvaya.
Okay.
You need training also, and it comes with purity. A sense of harmonization, it comes
with purity.
Sense comes, but then it has to be fine-tuned by training.
Okay.
Like that.
We have to be in the field to...
You have to be in the field, yeah. So that's actually real Brahmana.
Oh, that's a very good explanation.
Yeah, because many people can have knowledge, they can read books, they can cram things. So they can say, I have knowledge of God, sort of mental control, sense control they can have if they lead a very pious life, a decent life. But doesn't necessarily mean he's a Brahmana. Or he might have a lot of capacity to read books, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's a Brahmana. So people confuse.
Yeah, that is I think most beginners in devotion, they read a lot of books and then they get confused that I have Brahminical quality and I am not serve, I am not doing a job.
Yeah, it's not like that.
Okay, so that's a trap for them.
Yeah.
Well, that's very excellent explanation from your side.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.